Competitor number 10 is Patrick McKernan, a PhD student in Biomedical Engineering, whose presentation is titled, Using Genetic Engineering to Create Tools to Fight Infectious Disease.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick McKernan. I'm a biomedical engineer here at the University of Oklahoma. The lab I work in specializes in taking the proteins found in your body and using them as tools to address public health problems. Now, one day, our lab asked ourselves a question. What is the single greatest threat facing human public health? And the answer surprised us. It wasn't obesity, it wasn't cancer, it wasn't something really flashy like Ebola. It was something you've all probably heard of, but doesn't get a lot of news attention. It's malaria. If this audience represents half of all of the people who have ever lived, everyone on the left, you have died from old age, war, famine, disease. Everyone on the right, you have died from malaria. Malaria has killed half of all of the humans who have ever lived. And nowadays, that's not the case. We have modern medicine, and it only infects around 500 million people a year, killing around 500,000. And this is because we have used the same 2 or 3 drugs to push malaria back. However, the overuse of these drugs is leading to drug resistance. And there are whole continents where these drugs no longer work. And so our lab identified drug-resistant malaria and malaria as a prime health problem. And so the first thing we did was we looked at the malaria parasite. And the malaria parasite has a really interesting life cycle. It actually invades healthy red blood cells, using them to shield itself from the host immune system. It then cannibalizes its host cell to fuel its rapid growth before it bursts open and infects more cells. And so we looked at this cycle and we said, hey, we use genetic engineering to produce proteins, and we have a protein toolbox of proteins found in your own body that we can use to help address this. And so we have proteins that can cut, we have proteins that can bind to things, we have proteins that can build things, and we said, hey, on those cells that are infected with this parasite, these stressed cells, we have proteins that can stick to stressed red blood cells. And hey, we have proteins that can cut. And if we combine the two and make a fusion protein, we have a new protein that is effective against the parasite. It sticks only to the infected cells, destroying them before they can replicate again. And in our preliminary studies, we've had great results with this, comparable to modern-day antimalarial drugs. And the conclusion from this isn't that malaria is some sort of boogeyman hiding in the shadows ready to come get us. And it's not that we've invented the new penicillin, but that going forward, we can take the proteins found in your body and use them as tools and combine them in new and interesting ways to address public health problems. Thank you.